The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free picks and podcasts in one convenient app. Download the SGPN app today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Know me, you know the voice, no guy. It's me, really, bro. Villanra. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. All right. Yeah. I'm watching the semis, West semis of Lakers Thunder right now. We've got awards preview to break down for the season. A little bit of most improved, sixth player of the year, MVP, defense player of the year, all of that coming through. Got my co-host here, Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, feels good. Happy to be back once again. Season starts in a couple days. We got a couple off-season episodes to finish up, so looking forward to it. Did the team breakdowns with the win totals already. Let's do some awards.
Yeah, let's get into awards. We got a number of things to break down here. Last season, things went well. Asia Wilson MVP. We had Lonte Smith, Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of people weren't expecting that. What else was Nas Hillman was big. Sixth Player of the Year. We were not on that one. Nas Hillman and that Atlanta Dream team putting up and getting an award there. So we had a number of things. And then of course, I mean, one of the big ones is Natalie Nakase, Coach of the Year. I talked about the Golden State Valkyrie and just loading up and cashing. That was a nice 20-1 cash there on Coach Natalie Nakase. But yeah, a lot of people were out on my Valkyries last season, and they missed out on a lot of money for it.
Yeah, but once again, looking forward to all the awards. We have 5 for this episode. We have most improved, sixth player, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player, actually 6, and MVP. So we got 6 awards to do in about an hour.
We can do it in less. All right. Make sure everybody knows, for one, make sure you check out the NBA Gambling Podcast. If you're not already, you should be on the feed. If you're listening to WNBA Gambling Podcast, you got to be listening to the NBA Gambling Podcast. But if you're not, make sure you go over there, subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast. All right, Scott, let's kick things off here. Most improved market. I'm not going to read off all the numbers in the market, so please feel free, Scott, to drop your long shots if you have a long shot that is deeper in the market. I'm going to start things off here with, however, Rickea Jackson at 35-1, Aaliyah Edwards 35-1, Aaliyah Nye is 30-1, Jessica Shepard also 30-1, Anissa Morrow 20-1, Carla Lette 20-1. You've got Kiki Iriaf 20-1, Camila Cardoso 20-1, Naira Sabli 20-1, Dorka Yuhas 18-1, Bridget Carlton 15-1, Cam Brink 10-1, Sonia Citron 9-1, and Dom Malonga is the overarching favorite at plus 275. So you're jumping from plus 275 to 9-1. Then you got a bunch of, you're getting into some of your long shot categories here for the most improved player. I do think Dom Malonga actually does have a pretty good case for the award, but I actually have another player that I like a lot more than that. I'm curious if Scott's looking the same way as me. Scott, what are you looking at for the most improved player market?
Yeah, of course, this is kind of a dart throw market because you have to wonder what the criteria is. It's more of just open to interpretation. Last year, we saw Burton win it because she, of course, carried the Valkyries to the playoffs, but she's on an expansion team. So we're going to see a decent amount of role players on expansion teams get more playing time. I'm going to go for Bridget Carlton at around 10-1. I understand that her stats weren't that impressive last year. I know both of us think she's a solid player. The problem was there was a bit of a logjam at her position in Minnesota. The fact is, this team might be bad, really bad on Portland. So the question is, does team success actually matter? And I'm not really sure if it does, but she averaged 9 points per game last year. This team's going to be terrible, but she's arguably the best player on the roster. So based on just volume, I'm assuming Carlton's got a decent chance to get to like 15 points per game, maybe more than that. The team's going to be terrible, but if you want to argue for, once again, a player who should get a decent amount of stats bumping based on usage, Bridget, for reference, last year played about, let me just see the minutes here. She played 27 minutes per game, give or take. I can see her playing a bit more than that, but we know, of course, most of the shots were going to either Courtney Williams or to McBride or to Collier. I do think she'll be higher up on the totem pole here in Portland. The team's going to be terrible, though, but I didn't mind Bridget at 10-1.
All right. Honestly, there's Dom Malonga is pretty interesting, but there's only
such
one
a low
player.
price, though, for Malonga.
No, I understand it, and I understand not wanting to play it. There's only one player that I'm interested in this entire list of all those names I've said. And ironically, it was the first name that I said. Rickea Jackson at 35-1 is a horribly mispriced number that I think we could find very early into the season this completely shifting and falling and her getting like so much further into closer to where Malonga is. And it's the fact of she is now on a new team, the Chicago Sky, who won in the eyes of many have zero expectations, not expected to do much. We'll see what the new roster brings with Skylar Diggins Smith. Skylar Diggins as kind of that floor helm and floor general, but she's going to be initiating a lot of offense from that position. And somebody's got to be a receiver of that. Somebody has to be the, hey, when we go to you, we need you to go out there and try to score. And it's not going to be Camila Cardoso. I'm actually shocked that Camila has a shorter number than what Rickea has here. Rickea is the bona fide scorer of this group. And I wouldn't be surprised if she challenges nobody else other than Skylar Diggins Smith to being about a 20 point per game scorer here on this team with this roster, with the fact that they could potentially actually make the playoffs as well. So if you add that into it as well, and then the tragic magic of everything that's going on with her and James Pierce as well in the eyes of the voter, if Rickea gets to a 20 points per game score coming up from 14 points per game, I think she's going to have a huge case for most improved player. I'm Rickea Jackson at 35-1. It seems like a gift of a price, and I will sprinkle on that every day of the week.
Well, once again, you mentioned upside. The team could definitely be a playoff team. Do you think team success matters, or do you think it's more of like an extra credit piece where if the team's good, it's just, extra recognition? Kind of.
I mean, I think it matters to the point of it's kind of hard to be the most improved player if your team sucks and nobody can, get open, or you're getting smothered all the time. That's my only case against Bridget. Is like, I think Portland's going to be horrible. So like, how good is the best player on Portland? Like, I don't think that player is going to be that good.
Yeah. I guess what I'm wondering is if somebody walks into like 18 points, but the team's absolutely terrible, but they averaged like 8 points last year. That is an increase, but the team's terrible. So I don't know how much it actually matters. So it's kind of like, once again, picking your own criteria, seeing how the voters are going to actually determine their opinion on most improved. I'm just throwing a flyer out there, but I don't mind the price on Rickea. I know she's got upside to average like 20 points per game.
I think she should be a lower price than Camila Cardoso. So at that point, it's just automatic for me. But Rickea, that's really my overarching pick. I think Dom Malonga is going to have everything in front of her to do it, but I also think Seattle's going to suck. So like, Rickea is the player that I think is on a pretty solid to maybe potentially good team, and she's going to have the workload of being the number 1 or number 2 scorer on this group. So,
yeah.
All right. Next award. Let's talk about Rookie of the Year. Oh, no, 6th Player of the Year. I'm sorry. 6th Player of the Year. You're right, Scott. 6th Player of the Year here. We'll rattle off some of the odds. We'll start here at the 40-1 range. Steph Dolson is somehow 40-1 for this award. DeWanna Bonner's 40-1. Ray Burrell is 30-1. Monique Akoni is 30-1. She's in the starting lineup. I don't think she should be right there. Benaja Laney Hamilton's 25-1. Azzy Fudd, 25-1. Lauren Betts, 22-1. Olivia Miles, 22-1. Dejanay Carrington, 20-1. Tiana Powell, 20-1. Sophie Cunningham is 16-1. And Jewel Lloyd is 12-1. Tip Hayes is 12-1. Nas Hillman for a back-to-back year is 10-1. Cam Brink 9-1. And Kennedy Carter, the overarching favorite, at plus 450. Scott, sixth player of the year.
Yeah, I guess the question I have for you, though, for Kennedy Carter, who we know is really good, are the Aces going to just sweep all the awards, or do you think that they're going to look at everyone and go, well, we got to spread the love to other teams? Because my concern is if Asia ends up winning MVP again, and you look at a couple other awards maybe going towards the Aces' way, can you really just let one team sweep all the awards? That kind of defeats the purpose. So I think Carter's going to... Yeah, sorry.
I don't think in the case of Kennedy Carter that would be possible, especially if Kennedy Carter is coming off. Like, if it's as good as everybody says it's going to, or thinks it's going to be, and she comes off the bench and she's averaging like some 15 points off the bench, like, it's not going to be a thing of like, keep it from her. Like, you would have to give it to her if she's just the overarching.
Yeah, I wasn't going to take her anyway based on the price. I just don't think it's a good enough option. I'm going to go Dejanay for this one. I think you said it was, what, plus 2,000?
Yep.
So I like that. Chicago has a decent amount of depth on this team. We think they might be a bit underrated. They also got Natasha Cloud over the last couple of days to help out the guard depth. But we know Carrington's really good on both sides of the ball. She plays a certain brand of winning basketball where I can see her definitely in the closing unit, despite not being a starter. Solid overall player. I think we'd agree a winning basketball player. And with the veteran leadership there, also off the bench, I think she can be definitely in one of those roles where she's a bench player technically, but she's in the closing unit, making big defensive plays down the stretch, making a couple of big offensive plays as well. But she's a veteran, been there before, has a certain cachet across the league as being a solid overall roll dash winning player. I'll go Dejanay Carrington at around plus 2,000.
I feel like this is a tougher category. I think that Tiana Powell is interesting. 20-1 makes me scratch my head a little bit, though, because I just would think she'd be a little bit better, or that you'd be getting better of a price. But Tiana Powell is very interesting with how I know Carl Smeshko to want to be able to play offense, and he wants to put up a whole bunch of threes. And I think with the size and adding injuries and the fact that he feels like he can control the boards, they're going to put up a lot of 3-point shots this year. So Tiana Powell could be the recipient of that. That's interesting. I didn't mention Janelle Salon, but I think the question mark on Janelle Salon is she going to be in the starting lineup? Is she going to be coming off of the bench? But she's also 40-1. That's somebody that I would be interested in coming over from the Valkyries. Who else? I mean, is anybody else even?
Well, what do you think about Carrington? Because the points might not be there, but I do think she can impact winning enough on a Chicago team that's kind of well-rounded where she can get some credit if she's in the closing lineup. But she's not going to walk into like 18 points off the bench. That's just not going to happen.
I don't think she even does. Does she even come off of the bench enough? Like,
as of right now, the projected lineup is arguably going to be Cloud, Diggins, Rakia, Azare, and Cardoso. So technically, right now, yes. So we'll see.
What Natasha Cloud? I mean, Cloud is playing now, yes, because I'm pretty sure Dejanay has an injury right now, but like, I just couldn't imagine with where, Caitlin Clark, like all the guards in the league, that Dejanay Carrington is coming off the bench with the level defensively that she adds. Again, with this Sky team, maybe like, on a Minnesota, on like a Aces or somebody, but with this Sky team, I don't know if she's going to be coming off of the bench enough. Like maybe she starts off the bench because she's working herself back from an injury or something like that. But I think that's my one concern there for you, Scott, is they probably need her defensively, and she probably is in the starting lineup. more often than not.
She might be. I mean, once again, I believe it's the NBA rules where as long as you are off the bench in more games than being a starter, she might start like 20 games as long as it's below 23. Then I'm fine with that. But yeah, it's plus 2,000. I'm taking a flyer with a player who I know can definitely impact winning, who I think if she ends up coming off the bench and it works out the way it does in my mind, I think she'll get some respect from the voters for helping a team make the playoffs, courtesy of her defense that can swing games potentially off the bench. But plus 2,000, I'll take a flyer on a veteran.
I think Benajelani Hamilton is actually pretty interesting at 25-1. I just don't know if the scoring is going to be there, but
I thought she might win comeback player of the year, and they might just, unless they're just going to blindly give that to Clark and call it a day.
Yeah, that probably is the Clark Award.
Probably. But that's kind of what I was wondering, because I thought that maybe they might give Hamilton something, which might be comeback player of the year, but I have to imagine it goes to Clark, who missed a bunch of games last season. So we'll see. But I didn't mind Hamilton, though. I mean, she's, of course, a very solid player on the Liberty. We missed her last year. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think all roads lead to Kennedy Carter, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But
all roads probably lead to Kennedy Carter winning this award.
What was the price you said again for Carter?
Plus 450.
Yeah, that's what I see too. I think it's going to be chalky, but trying to get creative, I'll go Dejanay. But Carter, if she ends up being as good as we remember her being, she can run away with this award immediately by averaging like 16 off the bench.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, we're brought to you by Bracco Sportsbook and Casino. Am I saying that right, Scott? Bracco. Brought to you by Bracco. Tons of ways to get in on the action with Bracco, as they got you covered with all the major sports, offering over 100,000 sports markets a month. Bracco's available in a ton of states, and Wednesdays are for blackjack. Play blackjack on Wednesdays and get 50% of your losses back. Depositing and withdrawing is very easy. Money in, money out, lightning fast, bank, Apple Pay, and even crypto. Get a free $5 and a purchase match up to $100 at Bracco using promo code SGPN. That's Bracco, BRACCO, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Kalshi, real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. Kalshi has a whole bunch of different trading options for your favorite sports. Make sure you go check out Kalshi. Trade WNBA, NBA, MLB, all of that stuff over there at Kalshi. New Kalshi customers get $10 when they use that promo code SGPN at Kalshi. KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right. Next up.
I got coach of the year.
Coach of the year. I was looking for the little tab thing to pull up, Scott. Yeah. Coach of the year. We can rattle these off for the league. We got Sonia Rahman, 40-1. Rashid Mezian, 40-1. Tyler Marsh, 30-1. Wow. Alex Saramba, 25-1. Nate Tibbetts, 25-1. Sydney Johnson, 20-1. Becky Hammond, 10-1. Cheryl Reed, 10-1. Lynn Roberts, 10-1. Natalie Nakase, 10-1. Sandy Brondello, 10-1. Jose Fernandez, 8-1. Are you serious? Chris DeMarco, 5-1. Carl Smesco, 5-1. Stephanie White, 4-1.
So where do you want to start?
Jose Fernandez, I just think, is like completely absurd. Well, I'm not a believer in the Wings being like that. Like, how good do the Wings have to be for him to win Coach of the Year? Like, and then you have to hope everything else like doesn't go right. Plus, like, you have the fact of Shmesko honestly should be the favorite. So I already think you're getting a value. If you're one of those people that, you want to bet short favorites, I already think you're getting a value on Shmesko because he should be the favorite, because you could argue that he should have won the award last year. It's
That's
just
also
the fact
the problem,
that the Valkyries were a thing.
That's also the problem, though, is if they were the 1 seed last year, though, in the Eastern Conference, I know conference seedings don't matter, but if they were that good last year and their win total goes up by even a little bit, is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, if you do it again, if you go back and literally do that again, then they're like, oh, well, we got to give it to you this time. Like, that's where I see it for him. I'm not saying that's the bet that I'm taking, but I'm like, I just think Stephanie White is catching the I got Caitlin Clark on my team, and so I am the favorite. But like Steph White is just not a good not a good pick for this award at all, if I'm being honest.
No, I agree with you on that. It's more just with the Dream being so good last year. I always associate Coach of the Year with the Most Improved Team award. And you basically just pick the coach to get credit for a team that was decent or bad last year, and they suddenly became good. Now,
Mhm.
last year, of course, was on the Nakase win because an expansion team made the playoffs. And right on cue, I see Adam mentioning Toronto's lineup, which could be intriguing because they have some veterans. I think the narrative's actually great for Brondello. I found 12 to 1. I think it makes a lot of sense. When you factor in that she just got fired from the Liberty, so she was on, once again, free agency basically for the coaching staff, signs with an expansion team. You're high on Toronto. We think Toronto could be decent. They might sneak away into the playoff spot. Isn't this just a carbon copy of what happened with the Valkyries last year? If Toronto ends up getting in, and you also throw in Sandy, who just got fired from a previous team, who now ends up, you could already be in the scapegoat for the Liberty, and now she ends up taking Toronto to the playoffs in their first season. It's a great narrative. I think if Toronto made the playoffs, she would get credit for it, deserving or not. So based on that, I like the price on Brondello at 12 to 1.
I think that's interesting. However, I think they just missed the playoffs. I think that my coach of the year candidate actually gets his team to the playoffs. And because of his team is so dysfunctional and they've gotten so much complete negative press over the past few years, taking that team to the playoffs for what I think would be the first time since they won a championship in 2021, they might have had a playoff appearance after that. No, I really don't think so, though. And no. I think they got the year after, but basically around that time. Tyler Marsh at 30 to 1 is very, very intriguing because when this team ultimately is way better than what they were in the previous years, when they are above 500 fighting for a playoff spot or in the playoffs, he's probably going to get all of the credit for all of that happening, them making all those moves, them going and getting the veterans in the room, all of that. This finally all begins to make sense. And throughout all of that, this guy actually finally make the playoffs. Yeah, I am very interested at Tyler Marsh at 30 to 1. I think the fact that it's not one of the lowest prices on the board just ultimately tells me he has a pretty good chance of winning this, or at least dropping the odds on this by a lot, by this team actually being better. Ultimately, I think that has a very good chance of happening. If that doesn't happen, I think it probably is Schmesko at the 5 to 1. And it's just because the Dream are going to be really good. I think the Dream are going to be one of the best teams in the league. Like, he's going to get the press for that, and they're going to want to repay him for what he didn't win last year because Natalie Nakase was around. And so ultimately, do I think that they're going to go and give Becky Hammond or like Cheryl Reeve or somebody else the award again? No. I think it's going to 100% go to Schmesko if the Atlanta Dream are as good as I think they're going to be. So I think it's Tyler Marsh as the dart throw. He's the higher odds down the board that you take a stab at, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carl just go ahead and gets his coach of the year that he didn't get last year.
Yeah, I think the last point I'll make for my pick with Brondello, even if you think Toronto does not get into the playoffs, they are 4 to 1 to make the playoffs. So if the argument is if she's going to win the award if Toronto gets in, they're getting 12 to 1 on a 4 to 1 future because you're getting an extra $8. So I'll go for the value there. If you think Toronto gets in at 4 to 1, I think Brondello's a better bet at 12 to 1 to win coach of the year because they're pretty correlated. I'll back her to take the Nakase route. I still like Brondello for the price. I mean, we think Toronto's going to be decent. You like their win total over.
Yeah, I do think that they sneak over their win total. I just don't think they're playoffs good. I think they're like borderline right outside the playoffs. But this Sky team, I would not be surprised if this Sky team tries to go above 500 and like really Skylar really tries to stick it to a bunch of people. Plus, Skylar just is on winning basketball.
The Sky to make the playoffs, or we both picked their win total over too. So we're pretty high on Chicago as well. But yeah, once again, I think it's worth dart throws. I'm more of a narrative guy when it comes to coach of the year. And I think the Brondello narrative makes a lot of sense. I think your pitch on the Chicago Sky coach makes a lot of sense too. So yeah, I'll throw some darts out there.
All right. Let's see. Next up,
We got rookie.
we've got Rookie of the Year. All right. We can talk about. I mean, it's just a lot of these. A lot of these. There's nothing really to talk about here, but we'll kick things off at Kiki Rice, 13-1. Georgia Moore is in the category. I mean, I guess that, yeah, I guess it could be like the Ben Simmons thing. At 12-1. Flau'jae Johnson, 7+750. Lauren Betts, 7-1. Our Fam, 5-1. AZ Fudd, 3-1. Olivia Miles +260. Scott. If you ask me honestly, this is a toss-up award too.
Well, I don't really know enough about one of the favorites in this actual market, so I was hoping you can kind of fill me in. What exactly do you know about the about Awa Fam?
She is a big. So you just add another big into the host of bigs like Dom Malonga and Ezzy that they have over there. Played in the Spanish basketball league. She's really solid. I mean, like I was questionable because again they have a host of bigs and
Yeah.
it's just more. It's just big on big on big
Mhm.
basketball over there and we'll see but she's been playing professional basketball since she was like 15 years old, so um this is just another one of those European young big phenoms that the Seattle Storm have gotten. Can she win? I think if she plays, but is it a guarantee that she plays? You got to understand she's 19 years old. Like that's a big reason why Damalonga didn't play a lot of the time last year is because she's 19. She's still got to get a feel. Or still growing into the body, figuring all of that out, trying to play with some very, very grown women in WNBA. So like, yeah, she was a very high pick, but does that mean she's automatically going to go out there and have a chance for Rookie of the Year? I wouldn't say so. So uh, that's just not where I would look.
Yeah. I was initially going to write her off because of the log jam you just said in the front court, but I was curious if you had any thoughts about her. But I feel like once again, I have two main choices here. I got to go with Miles. I think Olivia Miles was the best player in the draft. I think she's phenomenal. And with Collier being out, I see more playing time initially. The problem is once Collier comes back, is she going to stay in the starting lineup? You could argue that a bench player is not going to win this award based on a lack of minutes, but I think Miles is so good she has to play. I thought she was an absolute monster in college. So I'll go for her at +260, unless you see a better price. I'll also go for Lauren Betts. There was a logjam at the front court for the Mystics as well. But the fact is, I think that she was the second best player. I think she probably should have been either number one or number two. I'll just go for talent. I'm not picking Fudd to win the award. So at that point, I'll throw out a couple of other players who I think have the talent to immediately be an impact player in the WNBA. I got Miles and I got Betts. Miles is at around 260. Betts is at 6-1. What do you got?
I could see Betts more than Miles if I'm being honest. I don't know. I'm curious on what the usage for Olivia Miles looks like, the links, honestly. I would go further down the list, way further down the list.
You talking about like Hawkins plus 5,000? Like how deep you talking about?
I think that Raven Johnson at 90-1 is very interesting.
I see 100-1.
And I think it's interesting because of how she is being used. Well, for one, the defense that she is playing can keep her on the floor. And the level of defense that she brings can keep her on the floor. Any spark of injuries can get her thrust into the starting lineup, but the level of defense that she plays can keep her on the floor as a sixth player or, coming off the bench and getting prolific minutes. From what I saw in the preseason, she very much is taking very kindly to the Indiana Fever's pace, the playmaking ability and trust that are given within the point guards of her and Caitlin Clark. And it seems like she's going to be that backup point guard to Clark. And the assists have been insane. And so if you tell me that she can go out there and like just have such a great impact defensively, the assists are really, really good. Don't really care like how much of the scoring is done. I've seen players win, rookie of the year averaging like 8 points, 7, 8 points. Like I don't need a lot of scoring, but it's the impact that Raven Johnson has. I think that 90-1 is very interesting for a rookie that it seems like she 100% has a role on her team. And I can't say that for our fam.
Yeah.
I can't say that for uh a lot of people, honestly. I mean, I know Olivia Miles is going to have a role. What is that role? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the
I
Collier
know
injury is going to result in a bit more of a deeper bench initially, but I get your point.
I know AZ Fudd has a role, but what is that role?
Yeah.
We know exactly what the role of Raven Johnson is, and she is the pseudo backup point guard that could end up playing more minutes because of the level of defense she plays. And so, like, Raven Johnson is very interesting at 90-1.
Do you think there's a path for her to start if Caitlin gets injured again?
Yeah, she would be the starter. I would think that she would. I think if Caitlin Clark were not playing, she would 100% be the starter.
I wasn't sure if they would just move Kelsey down and just try to throw in some veterans and call it a day. But there's a chance she
No,
might
because
start.
they need a point guard, and I think she's that point. Like she's been running the offense in like as the second unit point guard in the preseason. There's been nothing that hasn't shown me that she's not the point guard if Caitlin Clark goes down, and that would just like thrust this into the moon. So that's a long shot that I'm definitely having in my pocket. Looking at all the names on the list, I don't know what I'm going to get out of everybody, but from what I've just seen in short limited preseason, she has a legit role on the team.
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, that's kind of why I was also going with Miles and with Betts. Miles has been great in the preseason. She's averaging like 10, 4, and 3. Betts is averaging 15 points per game in preseason. I think she's going to be really good in the pros. So maybe I'm just picking the rookies who, whether there's actually an opening on the roster or not, players who I know can definitely make the leap immediately and put up some numbers.
Yep.
I'll let the injuries clear out some of the depth chart stuff, but I think Miles and Betts are the two best players in this class as far as I'm concerned. So I'll take them at decent prices.
All right. Let's see your underdog. Pick higher or lower your favorite players' fantasy stats over there at Underdog Fantasy. 2-pick entries pay 3.5x. 3-pick entries pay 6.5x. Make sure you just go check them out over there at Underdog. Brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5. Get $50 in bonus funds. We use that sign-up code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, your official data tool for dominating the WNBA, MLB, NBA, and golf. Let Rhythm's models help you cash in big. Get your 7-day free trial to tail their models or build your own models. And plus, Rhythm Stat of the Week. WNBA is back, and last season, Rhythm tracked 359 bets for a 58 win percentage, resulting in over $2,000 in profits in the WNBA. Go check out Rhythm right now. Promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm and use that promo code SGPN25. All right. Next up, Defensive Player of the Year. Let's stick a pin in the 5-1 category. Camila Cardoso, Sanaya Rivers, Shakira Austin, all 50-1. We've got Jacquel Jones, Veronica Burton, Dom Malonga, all 40-1. Ezzy
Magbagor?
Yeah. Whoa. Am I having a stroke? Am I okay?
I was trying to help you out in case you were.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Ezzy's 22-1. AT, Alyssa Thomas, 12-1. Brianna Stewart, 12-1. Cam Brink, 12-1. Gabby Williams, 12-1. Nafisa Collier, 11-1. Angel Reese is 10-1. Alana Smith, 9-1. Aaliyah Boston, plus 850. Asia Wilson, plus 250 there as the overarching favorite. Scott.
Yeah, I feel like Asia should be the favorite. I'm not going to pick her. I understand the argument, but look, at the end of the day, I got to find a little bit more value here. I think there's value on Brianna. The issue is if she can stay healthy, but we know how dominant of a defender she can be, especially with the shot blocking, the switchability, and of course the reputation of being an elite overall defensive player. That kind of caught my eye because in previous years, I feel like she was closer to the top. It was always going to be Asia, Collier, or Stewie. That was kind of the three you just assume would end up winning Defensive Player of the Year. And you're looking at a very good price. I'm kind of shocked how big the number actually is. So I'm going to go with Stewie, actually. I think it's a good price. Do you think 12 to 1's too long? Because I feel like in previous years, it was more in like the 6 or 7 to 1 range.
I mean, maybe if like the block, I just think Stewie's just getting a little bit older. The numbers aren't going to keep up. So Angel Reese is interesting at 10 to 1, just because I know that this Atlanta Dream was very good defensively, and she could arguably be the best player defensively on that group. I would love to say Gabby as well. I just don't know if the numbers will keep up with her. Cam Brink's only the only concern with Brink is the fact that I don't even know if she's even gonna
She's
get
barely going to play.
minutes.
Like those
Like
rumors
they
she
don't
might not
even know.
start.
They don't even like it's the Spark. Is the Sparks have no idea what they're doing.
No.
She's perfectly. The Sparks have no idea what she. So the Sparks could ruin Brink. Collier at 11-1 is actually like probably too low of a price. But it's just the fact of she's gonna miss the first month, maybe a month and a half. So like that's a lot. It probably does end up being Asia. Like honestly, it probably really does just end up being Asia. I mean, we could call the long shots elsewhere, but like
I think we see fully eye to eye here. Like if I had to pick anybody, I would have taken Asia. But if we're going for value elsewhere, I think Stewie's a bit long. I would have chosen Brink because Brink is an elite defensive player if she was guaranteed actual starter minutes on this team, but she's not. So I can't assume that she's going to actually play even 20 minutes per game. So based on that, I think Stewie, of course, plays a lot. The Liberties should be very good, as we think they're going to be. I'm a bit lower on them than you are, but they still should win like 27 plus games. So based on the amount of popularity the team has, based on the reputation she has, and the minutes, she could easily average over 2 blocks per game. I mean, we're talking about Brianna Stewart, who's an elite defensive player. Yes, she's getting up there in years. Injuries have been an issue. But I think the long shot value's there. I think you can make an argument for. Same thing with AT. Reputation, solid overall player. Maybe if the MVP's out, they'll try to make up for it by giving her a different award instead of letting Asia hog a defensive player and MVP. I see a case for Stewie and even maybe AT. But you need the stats. I think Stewie can give you the block stats. That's kind of my main point.
And that's my thing with Stewie. I don't know if Stewie's going to be able to get stats.
Let me see what she averaged last year.
I'm curious.
Brianna Stewart. So last couple of years in blocks, she averaged 1.4 steals, 1.4 blocks. Year before, 1.7 steals, 1.3 blocks. Year before, 1.5 steals, 1.6 blocks. She just dominates defensive stats. She averages like 3.5 steals and blocks per game. The stats are going to be there for Stewie. That's kind of why I chose her.
All right.
At that price, it's a great price for a future Hall of Famer. I think it's worth something. You don't think it's a bit long on Stewie? Yes, I know age, could be an issue, but 12 to 1 when you're averaging those type of numbers every year, I think that's pretty generous.
I mean, it could be. It could be.
Asia probably wins it, but if we're talking about people that can rival stats, I think Stewie can at least get you in a phenomenal season, maybe 4 steals and blocks combined per game. Maybe, which might be enough. So I'll take a shot there.
All right. I don't know what I officially want to call it. I guess just give me Asia plus 250. It was really nobody else that really nobody gives me the warm feeling of like, they're just like, Asia dominates the game defensively. It's just nothing. If anything, I could see her getting hosed on an MVP award, but not Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, she's the GOAT. She's the best player ever and the best defensive player ever. So once again, it makes perfect sense if you want to take her for DPOY as well. But I am wondering if they might just get tired of her hogging the awards and maybe they spread the wealth. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I hope that's not the case. I hope they just give it to the most deserving player. But there's a potential that happens. So I'll throw some other options out there. But Asia at 250, I mean, she is, in my opinion, the best defensive player in the history of the league. And I think you agree with that.
Best defensive and offensive.
Yeah, she's the GOAT. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I mean,
oh my god,
she's in a league.
All right, MVP. I mean, where do we even want to start this from?
We can start this at like the 20 to 1s or lower because there's no long shot that's going to win the award.
Yeah.
Just being honest here. Like, it's just not going to happen.
We'll go down to 5 to 1. Ryan Howard's 5 to 1. Alicia Gray's, I'm sorry, not 5 to 1. Ryan Howard's 50 to 1. Alicia Gray is 40 to 1. Satu Sabli's 40 to 1. Kelsey Plum is 30 to 1. Sabrina Ionescu 25 to 1. AT is 20 to 1. Paige Beckers is 14 to 1. Holy crap. Brianna Stewart is 13 to 1. Nafisa Collier is plus 750. Asia Wilson plus 265. And Caitlin Clark is the favorite for MVP at plus 240. Scott.
I mean, this is one of the chalkier awards that we have every year, right? Besides the one time where like AT almost won it or Collier almost won it, it's usually what, a 2 or 3 person race every year? I mean, is that where we're at?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. Like, I would say it's been the top two people, whoever those top, whether it's been some combination of Asia Nafisa, Asia Stewie, like for the most part, it has been the top 2. You'd have to go back a little bit while to get somebody that came out of nowhere and won it.
Yeah.
So I think it's Asia again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just Asia, isn't it? Like every year.
I think it's Asia again. We'll see what Caitlin Clark is able to do. I think Caitlin Clark has the chance for an award if Asia Wilson does not complete the season. We're at the point of watching Asia Wilson playing basketball where I just can't imagine if she completes the season how she does not win MVP. That's just the level, and that's just the level of hoops that she plays. And like, if you ever sit down enough to watch her play, you'll realize, oh yeah, she's like light years above everybody else. Like, it's literally a significant gap between her and whoever you have as the second best player in the league right now.
There's 2 ways she doesn't win it. It's either going to be injury or voter fatigue. That's kind of what you're looking at. I mean, Clark has it for the media.
What do you have to put up? What numbers does she have to put up to even like get close? Like, she has to put up it has to be like video game numbers that Clark has to go out there and put up to be like, because at this point you're getting 27, 28 from Asia. Easy.
I think you're trying to buy into the media hype. So I actually think Clark in theory could get there if she averaged like 10 assists per game. If she ends up getting, like, for example, let's say 22 and 10, still not going to compete with Asia like 27 and 11, but with the media storm and all, I can see them giving it to her for the growth of the league. Give it to Clark at like 22 and 10.
She had 20 and 10 her rookie season. So you're telling me 2 more points and now she's MVP? Like,
well, also her playing a bunch of games. She missed basically like more than half the season. But I'm not saying that I think she's going to win the award. You're asking what I think needs to happen for her to win. It's a mix of voter fatigue with Clark being the face of the league and trying to, just the voters trying to grow the sport by handing her I don't want to say a Make-A-Wish MVP, but you know what I'm trying to say. An undeserved MVP. I mean, we saw Brianna win it a couple years ago, and we thought that was a farce. So maybe we'll see it happen again. But I understand it for the media hype, which is maybe the only case you have against Asia because she's too good at basketball. You know? I mean, do you see any other players you think can actually win this award? Because I mentioned the media hype angle, but if you don't have that in your back pocket, who has a chance? Does anybody have a chance?
Nafisa Collier could have a run, but again, she's missing over half the
Yeah.
season. Stewie is always a good candidate for MVP, but a lot of mouths to feed over there. Sabrina Ionescu's starting to command another workload. You bring in Satu Sabli, like it's just a lot going on there.
I'd argue AT.
AT should be in the discussion every year. You know how I feel about that. If she gets to the level where she is averaging a triple double on the season, she probably, and that could be the thing. Like if AT goes and averages some triple double on the season, but which I think she very much could do. Like if she just knuckles around and keeps up on those assists and rebounds over the course of the season, she could 100% do that. Also, take away Satu Sabali is more opportunity for rebounds. Like, AT at 20-1, I think is relatively interesting just because AT probably should not be 20-1. I think we've talked about AT in other seasons where she was like plus 950, 10-1, something like that.
I see 22-1.
Yeah, so like AT, I could see, but like again, how good do you have to be? I think we just go ahead and pencil her in for some 27 and 11, 20, like something like that. Like
with
that's
like
just,
3 blocks.
It's too good. Like I just can't imagine how you automatically, you have to be in a double-double. So you have to be, and then not only, you can't just sit there and be at just 10. Like you probably need to be like whether it's assist rebounds, you need to be into the 11s too. She's darn near 12 rebounds a game. Like I think that I would take my other stab at 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 20-1, but I just can't imagine like anybody stopping her from winning the award again, and it just becoming historic. Like it just becoming historic at this point because like she understands she has to make it clear and obvious because she wants to keep winning them, Scott. This isn't like she wants to just win MVP. Like she's just doing this and she just wants to be the best player. She doesn't care about. She wants to keep winning MVPs. So she understands that she has to keep elevating the game and be so much better than everybody else every season. And she has the capability of doing it. It's really, I don't know. I am interested to see how the MVP market plays out because I just can't imagine what a season looks like where she's not MVP.
Yeah, once again, I see only 3 people that can realistically win it. One, of course, is Asia. 2 is AT. If she does have a monster season in the Mercury win maybe like 30 games, I can see her getting recognition for that. And the last one, once again, even though I don't like the price, is Clark, solely based on media hype. I can see a world where she wins it. That's the only 3 I could see. So that's all I got.
And
not saying she would deserve it, but based on media hype, I can see a world where Clark could win it.
Yeah.
So that's all I got.
All right. That's just Scott. Best bets. Anything? What you feel like one of the best things you said today was?
So for the best bets, I'm trying to think of which award. Because of course AT MVP, like that's kind of, like AT that's for value, Asia MVP, like that's kind of just cheating. Because we already know that it makes perfect sense. I really don't mind playing. I really think bets at 6-1 is some value on Rookie of the Year. Same thing with Miles. But you know what? I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I really don't mind the narrative for Brundello to win Coach of the Year at 12-1. I think it makes a lot of sense. If you want to talk about throwing a flyer out there for a team that's brand new, we saw Nakase win last year. Same exact script. Expansion team. Toronto gets a team, and maybe they overachieve and get to like 20-something wins. They could finish below 500 and still make the playoffs. And if that happens, she still might win the award. But she was scapegoated by some, arguably, that by the Liberty. We thought that she just wasn't very good. But people could argue that, once again, she was blamed for what happened that went wrong. Good narrative for her. She's still a well-respected former champion. I can see the voters giving her something. So I actually don't mind going for the Sandy Coach of the Year at 12-1.
All right. My 2 best bets, both are from the same team. both playing into the same narrative. One is directly going against one of yours, and that would be Tyler Marsh at 30-1 for Coach of the Year and Rickea Jackson at 35-1 for Most Improved. I think Rickea Jackson is a gross misprice for somebody who is going to be in the starting lineup, potentially the number one scoring option, but at worst, the number two scoring option, and has a skill set and a level of being able to score where she can average 20 rather easily. She can get 20 on an off night shooting. And imagine what she does on a good night shooting. I think that she can very much average 20 on the season. And that is a group where she averages 20. She's an all-star potentially in those WNBA teams. Like, she very much is going to be in the conversation for Most Improved. So Rickea Jackson, 35-1, Tyler Marsh, coach angle of Chicago Sky actually being good, and him getting some redemption. Plus, he's on that Becky Hammond coaching line, so that makes for a good story too.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I got here. Scott, anything else for the people before we get up out of here?
No, really. Once again, we have one more future episode to go. We do have the team future stuff in terms of the title, all the other stuff, but should be fun. Once again, season's approaching, so get excited.
All right. He's at Restaurant Radio. I'm at really real __. Make sure you give us a follow at SGPN NBA, youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast, and give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your WNBA Gambling Podcast. Apple, Spotify, does not matter. Make sure you go give us that review. With that, that's it. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast just going to like this. We are out of here.